I had a run at this. I'm going to have another run at it. Um, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Today, I had some post on Instagram or Facebook, which are very illuminating, very useful. There's a photograph of a young girl um, walking down the road with a school bag on, and attached to it is this long, several paragraphs, long screed written by this woman that she said, yes, that's my daughter, and I'm punishing her by making her walk to school, and I'm driving behind, 10 steps behind her, and it is my right to do this, and that children have to learn, and this is how we need to do this, and nobody has the right to tell me that I can't do this or whatever it is. And I'm like, fine, no, absolutely, your child is clearly your possession, you feel. Mistake number one in my book, but that's what you're doing, and you have a responsibility to make this child grow up into a useful, productive, contributing member of society. I would be interested to know how you imagine that exercise will end up with that result. But there you are, and I'm not a father. I don't have a child, so I really, part of me stays right out of it. And let me just say that I think it's your right, and your state has given you that right to do that to your child. However, an hour later or so, I was listening to something on Breakthrough News, I think it was, and this Tory minister in England was talking about. He was flabbergasted that somebody had suggested that Hamas be considered in the negotiations, and he said, "You don't understand." And he started saying those things that people do. What would you do if this savage, evil organization did what they did on October the 7th? And so that's his narrative. He's a Tory. That's his narrative. And then you David Lammy and various other James O'Brien, people that I don't know them. Can't tell you if I respect. I don't respect them, but people I listen to and people who've got important jobs and stuff. They said, what happened on October the 7th is on this," and I'm going, yes, okay. Why is it that this narrative is being insisted on by European colonial powers, by Europeans in general, people of Christian descent? And it's obvious. It's obvious. So if I'm supposed to, do you condemn Hamas? Do you condemn Hamas? Do you all that narrative when the first thing happened, and I had to say, well, no. Do I condemn Crazy Horse, Sitting Bull, Pontiac, the Iceni, the Sicarii? Look them up. Very interesting. First century Jews who took to murdering Romans. Endless examples of people, oppressed people, colonized people, responding in a bloody fashion, right? We should know this by now. We should be able to say, well, we don't. We maintain this narrative that we, the parent driving 10 yards behind the kid being taken to school, is a superior being, and therefore we have a right to do that. This is without question the legacy of Western civilization. And I think why they're so stupid, so relentlessly stupid about it, ignoring it like that. I don't see nothing, I don't hear nothing, or I speak nothing, hear, speak, and whatever, see nothing. It's staggering. And I think that they know it is. I think that they know, as John Meacham would say, we committed a boo-boo. He calls slavery America's original sin. There was an original one. one before that. It is a terrible sin, but there was one before that too. In fact, there were quite a few sins. One of the greatest sins is this presumption of superiority. And therefore, if you have a relationship to slave, to child, to the people whose land you have colonized, you simply don't. You do have the right. Obviously, these are the rights of the Western world. You do what you want to your child, to your neighbors. But then don't be surprised if they strike back. And don't be scandalized if they strike back. And if you want to compare body counts, do. Right? And the thing that's so obvious to me, obvious from any historical perspective, is that if Hamas strikes back, if the Sakari, who were Jews, strike back, if the Iceni strike back, or the Boudica, if Nat Turner strikes back, they are responding to something that's been done to them. They have cause. Trust me, there was a proposal to put Israel in Arizona. If Israel was in Arizona, the Palestinians would not be attacking Israelis. So this is not some genetic flaw in the Arab mind, dears. You caused it. And I think it comes out of a civilization that decided way, way early, long before even Christianity took up the baton and improved upon it. But long before that, there were obviously civilizations that decided that certain peoples, defeated peoples, could be treated like shite. The Roman Empire lived in before the Empire, the Roman Republic. The Roman Republic lived in abject fear of its slaves. And when Spartacus did revolt, the response was typically Roman, but of abject cruelty, because they knew it was coming. And to listen to the venom of not just the Tories, it's David Lammy and James O'Brien and Keir Starmer and all these sorts of people. It's like, they just don't get it. And I bet you, I don't know for sure, but I bet you this kind of amnesia or this kind of separation, it's like the Western world behaves like a brutal alcoholic father who beats his wife and his children on a regular basis. And then one day the son comes home and shoots him dead. Or doesn't shoot him dead, misses him, or whatever it is. And the Western world will crowd around this alcoholic, violent abuser and say, "Oh my God, this is so awful that this happened to you. Let's rush out and convict the son who shot you." So many metaphors. And it's connected to roots. It's deep, deep roots. This thing of parenting, trust me, other cultures do parenting different. And the outcomes are different. And if you're looking solely at the Western world, or even if you like the civilized world, this artificial world that we've created, that we live in, that we just can't seem to give up, you find a very different attitude and way of parenting. I think there are cultures who actually like their children. Don't love them. Loving is easy. Loving them is easy. It was easier than anything I'll ever do again. Yes, that's easy because love is addictive. But I mean, actually liking them. And in order to like them, modern human being, modern adult, you have to like yourself. And the modern adult does not do that. The modern civilized adult doesn't do that. And that is in their religion. As we've gone into before, your religion hates you. It wants to take care of you, So you've got this unforgiving God, and then you take over, you become the unforgiving God. Obviously, you're copying Dad. Anyway, more on this, but it's relentless. It's just relentless. And there is a thing that's really tragic. I have a feeling that the next great step forward for the human condition will come out of a Hamas. In a sense, it's already come out of the Native American community, the African American community, that people who have been colonially abused beyond belief have not struck back. They've not Hamased. Not recently. Be careful, though.